Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and happy Tuesday. I hope everyone is having a great week and thank you for joining me. Today I'm continuing my Halloween themed soaps in a way. I don't go all out for the spooky vibe, so I'm going to take this soap down to a more full kind of level. And a few years ago someone came up with a plaid soap. I love buffalo plaid around Christmas time. And so I thought I'd make this full Halloween theme plaid soap with nice muted orangey tones. So I'm starting out making the embeds for this soap. I've added my lye water to my oils and they're both at about 95 degrees and I've brought them to emulsification with my spatula. You can see that my oils are kind of orange. I infused my oils with some annatto seeds and just heated that up for about a minute and strained those out to give me this nice base colour. Now I'm adding some turmeric and my essential oils of bergamot, grapefruit and lemongrass to this soap to give me a nice deep orange colour. Now these plaid soaps are a few different tones, so I want it to be orange themed, so I'm going to have the deep orange, a lighter orange and a white. So I'm going to bring this to a nice thick trace and then pour it into my mold and set it to one side to set up overnight, and then I'm going to do the same thing and make the white embeds for this soap. Now this mold that I'm using is the same dimensions as the mold that I'm going to use to make the soap. It's just a little bit shorter. I left those to set up overnight and I'm using my loaf splitter on a very low dimension. It's actually 1/2 inch to break my soap into little sticks. And these are going to form the embeds for my plaid design in the soap. So you can see I've split my white soap into cubed canes and now I'm doing the dark orange. And I'm going to hold all of those together with the lighter orange. So I am putting my dark orange canes into my mold and I'm making sure they're the right width apart with the white canes. And it's time to make the rest of this soap. So again, my lye water and my oils are at about 100 degrees. I have infused my oils with annatto seed again, and I'm going to mix those together and bring them to emulsification. So you can see once again that this soap is a nice orange colour. Now I really like the orangey colour that these annatto seeds are giving my soap, but annatto seeds have a tendency to turn a little bit more yellow. So I am going to add some more turmeric and then some zinc oxide to get a lighter version of the dark orange soap that we have already made. So I'm adding just a little bit of that turmeric and then a couple of spoons of my zinc oxide to give me the colour I'm looking for, and adding some more of my essential oils. The bergamot, grapefruit and lemongrass essential oil is my absolute favourite essential oil blend. It is so delicious and citrusy and fruity and sweet. It's my favourite soap and essential oil blend that I make. So I'm going to go ahead and bring those to a medium thick trace with my stick blender. I need this soap to fit down between my soap canes and support the next layer of soap. I'm going to use my spatula to get my soap into my mold and down in between the soap canes, and I'm spreading it out along the soap mold and using my spatula to level off the soap so that I have a nice flat surface between the soap I'm just adding and the soap canes. Now while I was making this soap, I really love the colour. Orange is one of my favourite colours, but I cannot help but get complete peanut butter vibes from this soap. It was a toss-up at times between whether this was just spooning peanut butter or pumpkin pie filling into these soap molds. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think. Is it peanut butter or is it pumpkin pie filling? Either way, this soap smells absolutely delicious. Those citrus scents, I just love them. They're making me a little bit hungry. But I'm going to go ahead and finish getting this first layer of soap into the molds and nice and flat, and I want to take the time to make sure that each layer is nice and flat to make sure that the next layer sits nice and neatly on top. Alright, so I have that soap nice and flat in my mold, and I'm going to add the next layer. Now this layer is going to be the white soap canes just sitting right on top of the orange ones, and then I'm going to put more of that lighter orange colour in between the white soap canes. So I am being careful and taking my time to place the white soap canes right on top of the lighter orange colour. Now one thing I'm a little bit concerned about is whether my white soap canes are just a little bit too big. I feel like they should be sitting right down between the darker orange soap, but we're going to go ahead, this is what we are working with, and add the next layer of the lighter orange soap. So once again I am spooning that into my mold and pressing it down in between the soap canes. I am pressing it down and making sure that I get rid of any air pockets in this soap. And my soap is thickening up pretty quickly as I'm going, so I'm working efficiently, but at the same time making sure I'm getting rid of all of the air pockets and getting the design that I want, getting it as flat as I possibly can. In the research I did to make this soap, getting the soap flat and lined up was one of the key elements to getting the design that I'm looking for in this soap. So I'm going to go ahead and add the next layer of my soap canes in and keep working, adding my layers and my soap canes until I've used up all of my soap canes and got all of the soap into the molds. You can see at this point my soap is pretty thick and it's getting a little bit tricky to work into the molds and get it nice and level. We are managing to get it right down in between those canes, however, and the soap that I had left over, you can see my molds aren't quite full. I miscalculated my canes. I am going to use the rest of that soap in this piping bag and pipe on some little dollops right on top that the toppings for this soap are going to sit on. You can see how hard I'm having to squeeze that piping bag to get this soap out, but that's just fine. The little toppings are going to sit right on top of this soap and it's going to look so cute. So I am going for 3 little dollops across the top of the loaf of soap, and I'm getting those onto the top of the soap as quickly as I can so that I can make sure I get all of the soap onto the molds. Are you guys a Halloween fan? Do you love Halloween? Do you love all the spooky things about Halloween? Or do you prefer more of the rustic fall leaves and pumpkins type of Halloween-y vibes? Alright, it is time to make the toppings for this soap, and I am making teeny tiny little pumpkins. I want 3 pumpkins on top of each bar of soap. One is going to be the darker orange, one will be the lighter orange, and one will be the white. So I am rolling 3 grams of the darker orange colour into a ball, and I am just squishing that between my fingers. I'm going to do the same with the white and with the light orange colour. Now before I roll it into a ball, I am kneading it to make sure I get rid of any hard bits of soap, and that's going to give me a nice smooth finish to my pumpkins. Again, squishing it from that round shape gives it a more realistic pumpkin kind of a shape. Once we're done squishing those, I am taking a kebab skewer and I am marking the grooves in the pumpkins. So I'm rolling it all the way around the center of my ball and then doing that the same process another 2 times. Now using the wider skewer gives me nice wide grooves that look more realistic for the pumpkin shape. And I'm going to go ahead and add a few more that don't go all the way around the pumpkin. I didn't do this in every single section, I like to have a little bit of the variation. Then the last stage I'm doing for these pumpkins is going to add the little stalk on. So I have some brown soap dough. I've just rolled that into a thin sausage shape and I'm going to cut little sections of that to go on top of my pumpkins. So I'm taking one of my pumpkins and the wide end of my kebab skewer and just poking a hole in the very top for the brown soap dough to sit into. Now this soap dough is very fresh and it's freshly kneaded, so I'm just going to poke the little brown stem into the top of the pumpkin and then repeat the same process with all of my other pumpkins. And each soap is going to have one of each colour, and this is what they will look like all lined up. I think they are super cute together. So I'm going to go ahead and make the rest of my pumpkins. These 2 loaves make 22 bars of soap, so I am making 22 of each colour pumpkin, which is 66 pumpkins in total. So I did do that off camera so you don't have to watch the whole process. And now I'm going to top my soaps with those little pumpkins if I can keep count. And let's take a close-up look at the top of these soaps. So I have a couple different designs. One I didn't get all 3 of those dollops on, and one I did. I just love the way the top of these soaps turned out. It kind of looks like those pumpkins are nestled in a nice straw field. The next day I came back and it's time to cut this soap, and I really hope that I got those soap canes all lined up properly. But we're going to line up my soap with my multi-bar cutter and make sure that we don't cut any of those pumpkins. And this is what it looks like on the inside. I think this soap is super cute. I love the topping and I love the colouring, and it smells just amazing. The plaid design didn't come out exactly as I wanted. I didn't get those embeds to line up completely. I'll probably make them a little bit smaller so they fit between each other a little bit better when I make this soap again in the future. But you get the general vibes of what I'm going for. It's a nice full kind of a colouring and vibe with the little pumpkins on top. So let's take a look at the final product. Those little pumpkins, I just love them. I can't say enough good things about them, and I really like the overall pattern that I've ended up with. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next Tuesday.